Letter 21, on the fame my letters will bring you. Text read and modernized by Douglas C. Bates. Have you come to the conclusion that the difficulties you wrote me about are with those men you mention? May I suggest that your greatest difficulty is with yourself, and that you are your own stumbling block? You are struggling to keep your focus on what it is you really want. You are better at figuring out the right course than you are in following it. You see what you have to do to be happy, but you don't have the courage to do it. Let me tell you what I see that is preventing you from acting, as you don't seem to be able to identify it yourself. You think that your present position, which you've already decided to resign from, is one of importance. You've decided to resign to bring tranquility to your life. Yet you torment yourself now by thoughts that the life you are about to embark upon looks like a state of darkness and obscurity in comparison with the fame and renown that you've been experiencing in your present position. It is a mistake to judge from this appearance. To leave your present life and go to your new one will be a promotion. It is like the difference between a reflection of a torch in a mirror and looking at a torch. The torch creates light. The mirror just borrows it. If anyone stands between the torch and the mirror will become dark. No one can do that with the torch. The torch has a glow that comes from within. It is your study of philosophy that will give you that kind of glow from within. Consider when Epicurus wrote to Idomeneus, who was in a situation similar to yours. At that time, Idomeneus was a minister of state, exercising broad authority and jurisdiction over many important matters. Epicurus said to him, "If you are interested in gaining fame, my letters to you will make you more famous than all of the things you now cherish, things that now make you famous." Wasn't what Epicurus said true? Who now living would have known of Idomeneus if Epicurus had not mentioned him in his letters? All those important officials and heads of state who sought out Idomeneus' attention and interest are now long forgotten, as are their concerns. Cicero's letters have kept the name of Atticus from that same oblivion. If Atticus had been closely related to several of the most famous and important people of his era, his name would now never come up in conversation. It is only because Atticus was meaningful to Cicero that anyone now remembers him. The flood of time and forgetfulness will flow over all of us. Only a few people whose thoughts rise above those of their times will be remembered for long. That which Epicurus was able to promise to his friend, I am able to promise to you too, my friend. Future generations will find my writings also worth reading, and as such, I can take with me names that will be of interest to people as long as mine will be. Our poet Virgil promised an eternal name to two heroes, and he has managed to keep his promise. Whenever a person has had the benefit of fate in attaining an important role, they are fawned over by the multitudes while they retain their roles. When they leave those roles, they leave the minds of those formerly attentive to them. But when a person has a great ability, and they diligently cultivate this ability to increase it, then not only does honor accrue to that person, whatever is connected with them is carried along in the memory of that person. So that Idomeneus isn't carried along as a free rider in this letter, I'll have him contribute to my thesis. It was to him that Epicurus addressed the now well-known saying, "If you wish to make Pythocles rich, do not increase his financial assets. Instead, subtract from his desires." Epicurus' clever statement needs no explanation, but it would benefit from an expansion. It applies not only to money, but to anything of value. If you wish to make Pythocles honorable, do not add to his honors, but subtract from his desires. If you wish Pythocles to have pleasure forever, do not add to his pleasures, but subtract from his desires. If you wish to make Pythocles an old man, filling his life to the full, do not add to his years, but subtract from his desires. Don't think that these words belong to Epicurus alone. All wisdom is public property. My words are too, as are those of the ancients upon whose shoulders I stand. I think we ought to do with philosophy what is done in the Senate. When someone makes a motion that has a part of which I'm in favor of and a part I oppose, I encourage that the parts of the motion be separated so that I may vote for the part I approve of. Likewise, I am glad to honor and advance the good ideas from Epicurus, and all the more so to allow me to point out to those who misappropriate his philosophy to camouflage their pursuit of vice, that all of the schools of philosophy say that one must live honorably, and that of Epicurus is no exception. Go to his garden and read the motto at the entrance. Stranger, here you will do well to stay. Here our highest good is pleasure. The caretaker there will treat you with kindness. He will welcome you with an abundance of the simplest of food and fresh spring water. After this, he will inquire about your state of mind and discuss with you how the garden is designed not for stimulating your appetites, but for quenching them. Unlike a wine that makes you thirstier the more you drink, with each drink from the garden, your thirst is diminished. It is a natural cure, and one that requires no fee nor any doctor to administer. This is the pleasure the garden offers, and which the caretaker has enjoyed all these years. This brings me back to the point I started with. You are suffering from desires that cannot be readily alleviated. One has to work hard to get them to stop their demands. As Epicurus points out, such desires are natural, but they are not necessary. Any effort you put forth into fulfilling such desires is like giving them a gift. You owe them nothing. Hunger, however, is not like that. It demands payment, and you are indeed in debt. Yet it is a fair and honest creditor. Pay it what you owe, and your account is settled. Yours truly, Seneca.